Hey everybody, welcome back. We are unfortunately still waiting. Rogue is 17 minutes into his custom match, and we're not quite there just yet. That being said, I don't mind waiting a little bit longer, but if it does take too much time, we might move on to another series. I think this one's going to be really great, though, and to be honest, with the fact that we have limited games, unlike normal, where we're just casting every single match possible, the fact that we're getting cut off at the round of 8, I do want to kind of select our games a bit if possible. But like I said, there's backup plans. Gyeonggi just advanced over Creator as I'm speaking, so Patience will likely fight him. But I'm not sure what's going on with the match before Patience, if he actually has an opponent right now or if he still has to wait even longer.
Well, it'd be cool to actually cast some StarCraft, but everyone likes the BaseTradeTV talk show.
Right? To an extent. It's not about, it's not about trying to get like the most viewers or anything like that. I don't care for anything like that when we cast these sorts of events. It is the one rare opportunity, though, where we do get to pick and choose some players, so I'm hoping that's what we'll do. Rogue just went offline, though. Did NaTuRal win?
Oh, shit.
It could just be a relog. I don't actually know, but usually players go offline when they lose because they're like, you know, F this, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, he came back online? Okay, they're out of game. Alright, let's see if we can figure out what the score is.
1,000,000,000.
Alright, it's tied 1-1.
So close.
But I'm talking to NaTuRal and I think I'm getting a game invite. Ooh, baby. NaTuRal versus Rogue, game 3.
Yay, we got one!
Nice. And then we're going to follow through, of course, afterwards to the winner versus Maru, which will be most excellent. So we don't have to wait too much longer, which is great. Third map is going to be on Echo. Clearly, we have no clue how these first couple games played out. But I'm excited to see, even if it's just one game between two players of this caliber. Again, you guys might not know NaTuRal. A lot of you are going to know Rogue. Rogue has been in the spotlight, and he's been a really fantastic player. Hell, even playing in our events like Ting. NaTuRal, however, is probably only known to those who watch the Elite League, and he's a really good Terran. I don't want to oversell him, but he is a player you don't know the name of that I'm going to tell you is a good player.
Well, he's 1-1 with Rogue, so that should tell you a lot anyway.
I think actually pre-patch it would have. Now I'm really curious what that means, though. Like, did he go mech? Did he do something weird? Or was this, as we've been seeing all Terrans try, stick back to bio to make it work, you know?
I hear a lot of people saying that Zerg versus mech is impossible for the Zerg, and I just don't see any evidence of it so far in the pro games.
No, it's funny because, again, if you're watching Athenius' stream, he's good at making Zerg look stupid. You watch pros, though, and they're kind of flipping and flopping because I don't think they've experimented as much to learn the new boundaries of things. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get into the game. It's map number 3. Things are tied up 1-1. We did not cast game 1 or 2, but we did manage to find the tail end of this fantastic series. Bottom right side of the map, you should know him well. It's the yellow Zerg player, Rogue.
In the top left, as the green Terran, he is NaTuRal.
So, folks were pointing out the bracket while we were waiting, and I didn't actually look that far ahead. I was looking specifically at this match, but the fact that TY is in the same sort of corner as this bracket is right. After this, hopefully and ideally, we'd have, like, Maru versus Rogue, right? That'd be the sickest situation. Then the winner plays against either TY or what is likely Hyun or Armani. So this whole bottom side of the bracket looks really sick if we manage to follow it through.
Yeah. Well, maybe NaTuRal just won the last game or the game before, I don't know which one, but won a game by subscribing to TY's More Reapers, More Better deal. I don't know. It's only 2 racks, so it's not quite what TY does, but it is still one more than usual. Well, actually, I would say it's odd. Like, usually it's 1 or 3 racks. Why go 2 on a map that's not even really that good for Reapers?
So there's question marks for that, I agree, but just on the topic of more racks and more Reapers, well, I could be quoting and citing people like TY. It's been really cool seeing results out of players like Kelazur actually work with Reapers as well. One hand going really ham with them and sometimes just using them as an opener to a 3cc follow-up. I really am curious how NaTuRal has come to this conclusion for this map. Either way, thank you, Dog Dozer, for the 5-month resub. Wubba lubba dub dub! And Hayes5 for the Twitch Prime new sub.
Whee!
Did you ever get around to watching more Rick and Morty or no?
I did, yes. I mean, I finished the first season.
Oh, girl.
I watched some more.
You gotta watch a little bit more.
I have watched a little bit more.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, I was gonna ask specifically. Did you see the first episode of season 2 where like the realities get split?
Yes.
That is like the most impressed I've been with writing in so long that they were able to keep track of all the different like 64 and 32 different things out of sync.
So, I like that one. I actually quite enjoyed the one about Unity.
Oh, Unity,
but
yeah.
It made me feel really bad when like the end came on and there was like that sad song.
Did you watch the post-credits scene too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that song I went and I was listening to that for like a month straight afterwards. It's like a really catchy song.
It's really sad. I wouldn't want to listen to it. I acknowledge it was really good, but I wouldn't want to listen to it.
Alright, well, several Reapers not going down just yet, but they're also not killing much. Spinecrawler comes down out of Rogue. Really, really worried about these Reapers, I suppose. Normally the Queens and the Lings are enough, especially with speed, but the investment in a Spinecrawler tells me he's a bit spooked, and I'm starting to think that last game may have had a lot to do with Reapers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what map he could have done it on that it was, like, so good. Because so far what we've seen from TY, who's been the leader in these IEM qualifiers of multiple Reapers, they're just openers. They didn't actually end the game at any point, I think. Any of the games. No. So I don't know what really could have scared Rogue that much. I mean, it's exactly what happened. And a Spinecrawl is kind of a commitment here. I mean, I said that TY uses as an opener, and it works as an opener, and that's fine, but this is working as an opener. It is kind of forcing Rogue to open defend. It's getting a cancel and a kill on that drone. These Reapers are kind of baller.
And while it's a smaller detail, he also did drive the Lings off of breaking down the rocks, so that ramp is still open to NaTuRal to use and abuse if given the chance. Now, it is worth noting, Stim started up behind this. We're not going to have any sort of mech play coming out just yet, but I'm really subscribed to... I'm on the Nathaniel's hype train. He's talking a lot right now about trying to make Ravens a bigger impact in your bio play. Because what his plans are to experiment with tomorrow on stream. And after watching some of the stuff he was doing today, I'm convinced that that might just be the way for Terran to go. So I'm not sure if we'll see that direction necessarily out of NaTuRal. These guys, again, usually aren't the meta explorers or anything like that, but stick in a bio and not try and mech.
Yeah, as cool as it would be to have Nathanius realize what makes Terran great again, it would just be so perfect.
No, it really would. Like the theme of everything too. Nice transfusion on that queen. She almost died midair. That would have been spooky. Picking off some of the creep tumors, but really not a lot more NaTuRal could do. It's not a bad thing though, because it's not like he invested so many Reapers that he had to do damage. He was just using what he has to the best of his capabilities. Back at home, third CC's finished up. Probably move that over when he's comfortable. But Rogue is dropping creep and blocking out that third.
But he's being denied creep on the other side. And it's like these Reapers have really gone above and beyond their original purpose in so many different ways. Finally gonna die here, and doesn't take many Lings down with him, but everything else worked out well.
Big scut on that Spire upon death.
Yeah.
One of the really hard things to deal with right now when it comes to that Spire is Liberators used to be just like the auto. You're good, right? You make like 1 or 2 Liberators, mutas are garbage. They lost their bonus damage versus light in the patch. They're not so good anymore. You have to rely on your Marines.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to play out more like Heart of the Swarm did. And that might lead to complications, as like mass mutas did have that whole period of time where they looked kind of stupid versus Terran. But the fact is, you're going to need the missile turrets originally for the first like 8 to maybe 15 mutas. But then when they're above that, you're going to need actual proper positioning and keeping track where the mutas are at all times.
Thank you to Way of the Silent for the 19 long years of saving esports here on the channel. Also, because there's a bit of confusion, NaTuRal is not Maru. Maru's waiting to play the winner of this series.
Yes. Well, the mutas are getting some damage done. We do have not quite alive turrets. Just one of the NaTuRal's a little funky, but it still just covers the mineral line from that back attack. No Thors, no Liberators being made. NaTuRal is just depending on his Marines to deal with it, so which is a little worrying because he does want to push out with them when Combat Shields is done, and I just don't think he's actually going to be able to do very much with them. He did drop, it looks like. Not enough use to get damage, but yeah, a couple of overlords, maybe snipe a muta or two. Yo, yeah, there you go.
Not bad. Of course, it's going to be really hard to actually trade these out. He flies over the rocks, though, so he can actually maybe get a little bit more damage done. Lings are quick to respond. Widowmine's even going to come down. He's trying to save that medevac, and truth be told, it's actually really great that he did. Still, more Mutalisks are being invested in from Rogue behind this. Baneling's speed as well, and let's not forget, this upgrade does give Banelings an additional 10 health now, so a little bit harder to stutter step around them.
Yeah, stutter stepping, sniping, it's hard.
A really important aspect of this, though, is Rogue has very diligently got a lot of creep spread, and more to the point, a lot of live creep tumors on the map. Yeah, some's going to get cleaned up here in the middle, but the more creep, the better for these Banelings.
Yeah. And it's good, too, because NaTuRal's doing a very good job of denying it with the Reapers originally, so he's really pushing it out now. I have 2/2s on the way. These units should not really pressure on to creep too much, and we should have a couple of Thors being made from that second factory, as well as Drilling Claws. I mean, this is seriously looking back to Heart of the Swarm. We don't have any new units, and the Banelings just happen to get a patch, which is why they're new and improved.
Actually, speaking of the Thor, while I'm not convinced we'll see any, it is worth noting that Thor had its splash radius increased by, I think, like 1, so it's a little bit easier to hit the extra mutas, but still, a little bit of splitting does them a lot of good.
The muta count's at 14, and maybe that's where Rogue stops, but this is seriously that time where it's like, I need something else to help me with this, so... Well, Widowmine was clever, but sniped.
Yeah, Rogue sees that. He's trying to leave a lot of the Marines over here, not because he's being complacent. He was hoping to catch them on the way out, but unfortunately wasn't able to drive them out in the first place. So several SCVs died through that attack, but honestly, nothing too severe. Mostly the refinery going down.
Well, that Thor is going to be able to help a little bit with the mutas. You also will see, once again, the return of, like, carting it around in the medevac. It's also going to be useful when the final kind of, like, maxed out push comes from the Terran player. Like, those Thors add a lot. They stop the mutas from sniping and going over and helping the army, as well as they can soak up a lot of Baneling heads.
Rogue's muta control has been just fantastic to watch behind this. Like, sniping off those Widowmines, very precise, not out of position with the Mutalisks. In fact, only 2 have died so far. This has been really effective at a Rogue, even though he's not causing devastating amounts of damage. However, he's going to fly over top of the Marines, so take back all the good work for naught. Loses, I think, 3 more mutas on the retreat.
Yeah. Still keeps a good count at 17. That is still enough to threaten a counterattack for sure, as well as still maybe snipe a couple of key units, even though there's now a Thoral to help with that a little bit, as well as Drilling Claws. Like, he's going to get this army that Rogue's going to have a tough time pushing back, you know, especially, like, you can't go off of creep, I don't think, with the army, as big as it is, and I think you're going to need some type of surround or really good concave for Rogue, too, as NaTuRal gets maxed out. Low supply block right now, not quite at that perfect army, but he has chosen the 4th to be his pressure point, which is actually a little deceiving. It has a couple of chokes, which looks good, but it can be an easy surround.
Oh, those Banelings. A lot of them get wasted on the Thor, so a lot of the Marines live. Reinforcements going to drive off the mutas. A couple of Widowmines got fired, too. This base is going to die. Stutters around to catch some of the drones. Not quite going to do it, though. He might lose what he has on the offense, which kind of sucks. That Thor especially. Drop it like it's hot, baby. Okay, so he trades out a good chunk of his army for the base of Rogue, but Rogue is building another one down here, so transferring over shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad. I really do feel like that was a trade. Like the fullest to that term, a trade. As NaTuRal still on 3 bases, Rogue quickly going back up to 4, so that's a good muta count. He is definitely missing the hive right here, and he'll get there when he feels comfortable. But that means pushing back NaTuRal for good. And this is an okay attack. I think NaTuRal's a little surprised to see the army in the middle of the map. Yeah,
that Widowmine reaching for that hit spooked Rogue a little bit. Didn't want to go further off creep, but so much of this game is in these mutas, up to 20 now. This is a situation, too, where, again, you're wishing you had the old school Liberators. Thors can still get the job done, given the right circumstances, but exposed and in the middle of the map like he was earlier, that Thor was not too efficient. These Widowmines still looking for a lot of hits. I'm not sure if NaTuRal's just trying to bait him in or what. Either way, Rogue doesn't take the bait. He's paying a lot of attention with these mutas, and he's been very meticulous with their control.
Yeah. Unfortunately for NaTuRal, this really is the only response. This is really getting, like, deja vu Heart of the Swarm, where the Terrans either had to hope to God the Widowmines would get those good hits, which that was pretty good,
Well,
we didn't kill all of them.
That was, of course, a bit of a cost of the Overseer going down. Most of Rogue's control is pretty perfect when you can see exactly what he was looking for.
No, that wasn't too good there. This is good control by Rogue, even if he did end up losing a couple of mutas right there, and he's replacing them really quickly too, while still spreading a little bit of creep here and there, so that if NaTuRal felt fed up and counterattacked, he would be going way into creep, which is not what you need to do, because that's the other response. Like, either the Widow Mines get really good shots and go all the mutas, and you're like, thank God, or you push and hope that they're forced to use the mutas in the defense.
So,
but
it is worth noting, Rogue is still sticking on layer tech, not moving on to Hive, not moving on to those Ultras. He really wants to make this game about the mutas. And 31 mutas is such an abusive number, but I fret that like one good Widow Mine and two good Thor shots could end him.
Yeah, it's scary right now, for sure. And unfortunately, his creep spread to the left was not as far as he wanted to be to protect that base.
It's like, I hesitate to call it an all-in when you reach this many mutas, but it is one of those things where you don't replace 31 mutas.
Yeah, you don't. You also probably don't take the engagement. You actually just counterattack, which is exactly what Rogue is doing. So a base goes down to these mutas. That was the main.
He's going to get the armory too if he wants. That'll be a really nice stall out on any further upgrades. But just picking up the SCVs instead. NaTuRal base might get focused too. I mean, the Widow Mine's going to pop off. Kind of nice for the mutas. But this Liberator doesn't do anything but tickle nowadays. This will cost Rogue one of his own bases. But once again, he did expand where he had lost earlier. So he's not so bad for this. Just transfer the drones around.
And he took a good portion of the bio with him. What's really scary is that NaTuRal is saving all of his Widow Mines, though. So like 13 Widow Mines with Drilling Claws, unless they make the mistake of all clumping up, which is very possible. You know, instant reaction, burr all of them in a clump, and like 4 Banelings, so everything. Well, if they don't, if they're all spread out, that's a lot to get through for Rogue.
Well, another part of this, too, is all these burrowed links he's left around the map sees all this. So he knows that the army's there. He knows where his positioning is safe to go to. And again, I got to give Rogue so much credit because his eyes are impressing me the most this game. Some of the best pickoffs he's been doing have been diving for these Widow Mines amongst like 13 Marines. Like, I barely even saw it until he kills it type thing.
Yeah, some of them have been pretty well hidden. There could be more, of course, like underneath these stack SCVs, for instance. That probably would have been a really good place. But he's going to try and catch their mutas on the retreat, which is not a bad idea either.
But the links bait out the shots. Really nice over there. Muta's just going to go to the main. No defense, no turrets, no Widow Mines. Oh, you don't expect the barracks to get sniped like this, but it's happening. It's happening.
There's just not much that NaTuRal can do. At best, he can try and lift whatever Thors he has, which is 2 of them. Well, so 2... if he lifts them and drops them down, probably scare the mutas away.
So going back to the Raven potential for this equation, because this looks ridiculous, right? You're like, oh, you took away the Liberator. How on earth do you ever deal with mutas? Like, Thors still are not bad, but the new Raven auto turret seriously has been ridiculous to watch. Again, quoting Nathanius' play stylings, you guys should definitely check out the VODs if you want to see some ridiculous stuff in this specific scenario. But Secret Missiles as well have the longer upgrade range. Like, there's so much potential for what's cool out of Ravens. I want to see them be part of the meta, because right now what we're seeing is a very good Terran player handle units that have historically been good in the matchup poorly against Rogue. I
don't think that can actually happen. Not when you're going bio, because the time that you would have to spend with building Ravens from a tech lab, because that was another good thing of the Liberators, right? They had good splash, they could chase the mutas because they were also flying, and you could reactor them out, so you could swap between Medivacs and Liberators depending on what you needed. You go Ravens, he's already had a bad Medivac count, like just because the mutas are picking them off. Like, I don't know that's actually gonna work.
All I can say is you gotta check the games. He doesn't have it locked down solid or anything, but the potential looks really cool. Thank you to Qualifier for the rebroadcast sub. 26 months. Nice.
Cool.
I'm just particularly hyped about this, guys, because A, Nate's a friend, but also B, just looked really cool to watch. Anyways, the Muta count still, though, up to 28. He's only lost 14, which has been really damn impressive. And the biggest thing he's done with all of this was A, keep NaTuRal from going across the map. NaTuRal hasn't been sniping Rogue's bases like he was earlier on, but on top of this, there's no income. NaTuRal's literally on 0 minerals, 0 gas per minute. He's not mining anything from anywhere.
That was cool. Rogue just baited out one of those Widow Mines. And he could go to that NaTuRal, I feel. Or, that's not NaTuRal, sorry. To the 4th base. But he is just gonna, like, Echo, it had this problem, it's had this problem. There's a ton of dead space, and it looks so unnecessary when you really think about it. The mutas have everywhere to go and nowhere to actually be afraid of, especially attacking into the farther out bases.
It's like a fifth of the corner of the map. it's just dedicated to spaces non-air units can't go.
NaTuRal is in a terrible position. His army supply is not bad, but as soon as he moves out, his bases will be sniped, and he'll move on to creep as well, so it won't. I don't even think his actual arm will do a lot. Rogue, his only throw potential here, I think, is to try and take an engagement because he gets fed up. You just like end the game already.
Yeah.
He could throw a game like that, but I would feel that Rogue was too good of a player to do that.
That's what I think too. He's also spreading the mutas. The Baneling's coming from all sides. Big surround comes down. Woodermine's going to pop off, but Rogue's not going to lose. He's got all the mutas still standing. 22 remain, and there's only 12 Marines in play.
Yeah, that's it. Mass mutas, good style.
I will say again, like for me though, this wasn't a game of watching a Zerg player do mass mutas and like herder balance complaint. There was a lot of really well-handled precision out of Rogue, and it was a lot on I think his control more than the unit type he went for.
Yeah. Again, like 2 weeks into the patch, barely. This is the first time we've seen Mutiling Bling go back to what looks to be like Heart of the Swarm, so it's obviously not guaranteed to be what comes, but I think that would have been one of the fears of reducing the Liberator's power again, would be mass mutas would make their way back in.
Well, Rogue will take the series 2-1 and move on to fight against Maru. Ooh, this is the match we really wanted, guys, so we're going to cross our fingers and hope we don't get like slapped away from it.
Are you getting slapped?
No, I'm just telling Golden because I think Golden wants to cast next too. So we're going to go to commercial break, guys, of just 2 minutes. When we return, hopefully a brand new best of 3 with 2 fantastic players.